Our next speaker is Todd Kinney. Todd Kinney is county engineer at Clinton County Secondary Road Department in DeWitt Township, Iowa, a position he has held for almost 20 years. Prior to joining Clinton County, Todd was with Shive Hattery. In 2015, he was named the Rural County Engineer of the Year by the National Association of County Engineers.
My name is Todd Kinney. I'm the county engineer in Clinton County, Iowa, and I've served in that capacity for the last 20 years. I am also the current National Association of County Engineers president and served as the NACE Pavement Preservation Technical Committee chair for several years. My topic today is the value of pavement preservation to county agencies. I'm going to try and discuss the value of pavement preservation to county agency in the terms of the level of effort now being applied to pavement preservation by counties. It's really no longer an option, but rather a necessity for county agencies. When I was asked to speak about the value of pavement preservation to county agencies, I reached out to a few county engineers across the nation and asked them the question, what is the value of pavement preservation to your county? And I really didn't get the answer I was looking for, or the answer to my question. Most of the responses were about which individual pavement preservation methods they found provided the best results, how they wanted to do more, but run into pushback from elected officials, the public, and budgeting shortfalls. But one of the common responses from all of the county engineers I spoke with was that they want to develop more robust pavement preservation programs within their counties. And I really do think the discussion has changed from, are you doing any pavement preservation, to what pavement preservation are you doing and how often? So what's the value of pavement preservation? Well, the first thing to look at from a county's perspective is the system side. Counties maintain about 44% of the roads in the United States. In Iowa, counties maintain almost 80% of the roads. An annual budget for a county does not meet the rehab schedule based on typical design life for pavements. It should be a simple evaluation. Total number of paved miles divided by average age at rehab multiplied by your per mile rehab cost should equal your annual rehab budget. But typically, county agencies can only control one of the three variables, which is the age at rehab. As an example, in Clinton County, with 220 miles of paved roads and an expected 25-year life cycle between pavement rehab cycles, using our average rehab cost per mile, in Clinton County, we have about a $1.1 million budget shortfall to maintain our system. That's if we use the worst first mentality, which is obviously not sustainable. So we have to do something else to prolong the life of our payments and bridge the funding gap. So the question is, how do we bridge the gap? There's basically three options. Actually, there's a fourth, I'll talk about at the end. As mentioned in the previous presentation, try and educate the public that their level of service, PCI, IRI, will be going down. But telling the public that their overall road conditions will deteriorate is not the best option. But in some cases, if you have dug yourself a deep enough hole, you don't have any other option. Second option is to get more money. Getting more money is sometimes possible, or at least shifting or committing more of your budget to pavement preservation instead of rehab. Third option would be make our roads outlive their original design life and rehab schedule. And really, making roads last longer is a no-brainer to county agencies. They should want to do this regardless of your position on pavement preservation. I really can't think of any other infrastructure as engineers that we design and build that doesn't require periodic maintenance to maintain its longevity and effectiveness. The value of pavement preservation is to bridge the funding gap. Of these three options, more often than not, all three options must be used by counties. And as I mentioned, sometimes there's a fourth option, which is to turn pavements back to gravel roads or aggregate surface roads. And obviously that is not very well received by the public. And basically you lose the investment in your paved road. I'm not going to cover each one of these pavement preservation treatment methods. I just want to list here that counties have a big toolbox for treatments to select from. Listed there are the main tools of trade for counties. In general, counties look for the low investment, high rate of return. Those are key based on the limited funds that counties typically have for the size of their paved road systems. Counties are now doing more pavement preservation projects, letting larger projects, using funds other than local funds, and implementing a systems approach to pavement management. basically trying to look at the entire system for pavement preservation projects as well as the rehabilitation projects. Several years ago, I started using the highway health check as a tool in Clinton County to help my elected board understand the value of pavement preservation, basically explaining the lane mile years added concept. This allowed counties to stretch limited funds farther and help target more funds for pavement preservation. The lane miles years added by pavement preservations typically cost 1/3 to 1/4 of the lane mile years added by rehabilitation projects for Clinton County. And I still use this health check with my board each year at budget time to show our investment in our paved road system. So as counties implement their pavement preservation programs, it is important to know your system. Obviously, there's expensive tools and inexpensive tools. In the old adage, you don't want to do an oil change on an engine that's blown. So selecting the right tool for the job is important to counties, especially those projects that are being done for the first time in county agencies that don't have a very robust or well-developed pavement preservation program. But more and more agencies are shifting pavement rehab money for preservation projects. More and more counties are using and implementing asset management tools and software and developing asset management plans that incorporate preservation projects. Counties planning and budgeting for pavement preservation projects and basing on systems planning approach, implementing a variety of treatments, not just the top of the curve type applications. So what's the value of pavement preservation for counties? It allows work on several centerline miles each year compared to rehabilitation. It extends the level of service and overall increase or maintenance of the PCI and IRI over time, maintains our investment in our infrastructure, and continues to meet the traveling public expectations for the road system and basically makes roads last longer. County agencies continue to fight the battle against worst first because they have so many more miles in poor to the very poor condition state. It is an uphill battle to convince people that you have to start spending money on good pavements, even though you have more miles than you can rehab in a year that are in a very poor condition state. So what's the value? Public sees counties doing preventive maintenance, and the public perception of pavement preservation starts to be more well accepted. Usually counties try and start small and then build on their pavement preservation as the public perceives the benefit and sees the benefit from year to year. It keeps your good pavements in good condition and they last longer. And you keep adjusting your pavement system condition curves up, which keeps your entire system in a better state. And just a few general comments to close regarding the value of pavement preservation. In Iowa, the Iowa Highway Research Board has funded 10 pavement preservation related projects just in the last 4 years alone. Iowa State University has added classes in pavement preservation to its curriculum. And the National Association of County Engineers Pavement Preservation Committee is consistently one of the most active and engaged of the NACE technical committees. Pavement preservation topics are the most abundant and well-attended sessions at our NACE annual conference. The time and effort invested into research and education regarding pavement preservation is an excellent indicator of the value of pavement preservation to county agencies. So I just want to thank you for your attention and your attendance today.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.